I know a lot of you might be thinking, like, I don't need to tell stories, but yes, you do. As a leader, as a self leader, we all need to be able to connect with people, and we connect through stories. That's what moves us. Hi, welcome to Reflect Forward. I'm your host, Carrie Siggins. I'm so glad you are here. Hope you are watching this on YouTube. Welcome to my new office. I just got done with a big construction project on my house, building a new addition and remodeling my kitchen. It has been so stressful, a lot of work, and yay, I'm finally in it. So I'm working from home today because my son is not feeling well. And so I decided to record this week's episode here in my lovely new office. I'm so excited to be here. All right, so today I want to talk about storytelling in leadership. So I just got back from an awesome storytelling conference called Rock My Story, put on by my dear friend Lakita Clear, who is the founder and CEO of Clear Communication Academy. She's also my speaking coach, and it was so fantastic. And I learned a lot. I participated. I was a speaker at the event, and we hosted a live event where some of the participants could come on stage and tell their stories as a way to practice. Because I always say, if you want to get better at speaking, you just have to practice. Say yes, yes, yes to every opportunity that you have to speak because it will make you better. And I wanted to share some of the things that were really key takeaways for me from this conference and why storytelling is so important in leadership. And I know a lot of you might be thinking, like, I don't need to tell stories, but yes, you do. As a leader, as a self leader, we all need to be able to connect with people, and we connect through stories. That's what moves us, right? When we watch a commercial on TV and it causes us to get emotional, a tear to roll down our face, it's the story. When we watch a movie and we're so engaged, it's the story. Well, it's the same thing in business and leadership. People are moved by stories. They're not moved by facts and figures. Maybe a few people are, but the majority of us want the story behind those facts and figures. We want to understand the hero's journey. We want to see the vision, feel the vision. And so it's really important to develop your storytelling skills as a leader to be able to build those connections with people. So I want to talk a little bit today about some of those takeaways and why I think that it's so important for you to consider working on your storytelling, going to a storytelling workshop like this to get to be better at telling stories and maybe not feel so scared because it is vulnerable. It's vulnerable to get up and tell a story. So, why? Why is storytelling so important? Number one, it boosts connection and engagement. We're all drawn to a good story, like I just said. And studies show that stories are 22 times more memorable than just facts alone. So, as we want to connect with our teammates and our colleagues, we need to be able to tell stories. So let's say that you are talking about your company's goals or your company's values. Engage in narratives. Why this value is really important. I tell a story of creating the Stone Age Own It mindset, which is our set of values and success behaviors within the company, how you think and act like an owner. And it came when we were letting an employee go. And this person was what I call a toxic high performer, somebody who does a job well, but is toxic to the workplace environment. And when we were letting him go, we said, we're letting you go because you're not a good teammate. You're good at your job, but you're not a great teammate. And he said, where does it say that I need to be a great teammate in my job description? And he was right. It wasn't in the job description. His job description was just filled with the tasks that he needed to do to perform his job well. And that was what inspired us to develop the Own It mindset and really make sure that our values were clear and written into our job descriptions so that everybody understands what's expected and how they're going to be successful within the company. And so that right there is a story. That is a story of how our values came to be. When I tell that story to my team or to other leaders who are looking to build out their own set of values, they can get that. That's very visceral. Yeah, I can imagine like, ooh, that feedback probably stung. Yes, it did. And I took action with it. That is the power of storytelling rather than just saying, one of our values is be a great teammate. This is what be a great teammate means. It really helps people connect with why something came to be, why that value was important. And people can connect into it and people can put themselves in my shoes and imagine what it was like for that employee to say that to me or put themselves in that employee's shoes who was or put themselves in that employee's shoes and saying, yeah, that's right. He was right. It wasn't in the job description. And why are soft skills important if you're doing a good job getting your tasks done? So that's the power of storytelling. People can connect, people can engage. It's not just about communicating, it's about having your message resonate with your audience. It's making that emotional connection so that people feel like they understand it. They are part of a team. They're all pulling in the same direction. Like whatever you're talking about, you need to inspire that emotion. The second aspect of storytelling and why it's so important for leaders to be good storytellers is that it helps you earn trust and credibility. Because let's face it, people tend to trust those they relate to. People want to relate to their leaders. They want to say, that leader gets me because I look like that leader. I understand the trials and tribulations that leader went through. And they understand mine because they share similar experiences. So, if you want to build trust and credibility, weave personal insights and experiences into your narratives. It helps you break down barriers and it shows that you are not just this person, this leadership with this title, that you are a real human being, that you've gone through trials and tribulations and that you've had experiences that people can relate to. During this conference, one of the women said, I have such crazy stories. Like, how is anybody going to relate to it? And people haven't gone through these similar experiences. Well, one, you don't know that. And two, it's not the exact details of the stories people connect with. It's that it reminds them of something that they experienced. For example, my story of the employee saying, where does it say be a great teammate in my job description? They could imagine that they might have wanted to say that sometime, or they might imagine getting tough feedback like that from somebody else that inspired them to take action. It's not the details of the story, it's the feeling that it invokes, and it's the experiences that your story reminds people of. People can always put themselves in the shoe of like, oh, yeah, I remember when something similar happened to me. It wasn't just the exact same thing, but something similar. So don't be afraid that the details of your story have to be exactly the details of somebody else's story. We connect and have that trust and credibility through shared experiences, not identical experiences. So show your team that you are in the trenches with them, that you've gone through tough times, that you've had to overcome adversity to get to where you are, and help them see the why behind the decisions. And you will be more credible and people will trust you more because it's like, yeah, that person's real. We all want to work with people who are real, and we show that we're real through storytelling. The next thing that stories do is it helps inspire action and it helps people embrace change. The third thing that good storytelling does is it inspires action and it helps people embrace change. I'm sure you've heard a story that made you want to do something. I know I certainly have. I do all the time. And that's the magic of storytelling. When you're inspired by this vision or a journey or a transformation and say, I want to do that too. It's not the details of the transformation or the journey that inspires you. It's the story behind it. It's the feeling and the emotion. So if you are a leader who's trying to inspire action and help people embrace change, share a story. Help people see the why. Help people understand how this benefits them and do it through a storytelling example. Um, I'm a disruptive CEO and I am constantly trying to help my employees embrace change because change is inevitable, one, but there's just such this future type of company that we're trying to get to. And it requires everybody being on the same page and wanting to achieve that same thing for us to do it effectively. And so I have to use stories. So I paint a picture of what the future looks like. What does our industry look like when there's nobody who wants to do this work? What does our industry look like when technology has taken over? And we can either stay the way we are and let the rest of the world take over our industry, or we can be the ones in the forefront. We can be the ones figuring out the labor challenges in our industry and using technology to solve those problems. And here's what this looks like. But if we don't have people who want to do this work manually, we have to invest in technology. That invokes feeling. Okay, I get it. I get why we're changing as a company and we're doing more technology work rather than some of the things that we used to do. That is an example of how you use storytelling to help people embrace change. Paint that picture of what that future looks like. Tell a story of how you're going to get there. Tell a story of what's going to happen if you don't get there. People can relate to that. Frame it as an exciting chapter in your team's evolution, in your company's evolution, and it will help people feel more inspired to jump on board. The fourth aspect of storytelling is that it makes these leadership lessons stick. It makes learning lessons stick. Remember being captivated by stories as a kid? I mean, I certainly do. I'm still captivated by stories as an adult, but it's because they stick. And there's a great book out there called Stories That Stick, Made to Stick. Might actually even have it right here by the Heath brothers. And it's all about how you make sticky stories so that people can learn lessons. So when you take lessons and you turn them into narratives, it helps people go, "Oh, I'm going to learn from this." I tell a story about the power of transparency all the time and how when we were making this big strategic change, we were afraid people in the industry were going to find out. So we created this war room and only the key people who were working on this strategic change were allowed in there. And then we locked it at night because we had whiteboards everywhere. And this made people feel really left out. They were scared about the change that we were going through and lack of information. They were making up their own stories. And in fact, a piece of feedback that we got on a survey after we did that change was someone saying, "I felt like I was a mushroom, kept in the dark and fed poop." And that really stuck with me. And I decided in that moment that I would always be transparent, that there was nothing that was so worth keeping a secret like that to make my employees feel scared. That is a story that sticks about transparency. I could say, well, I learned how to be a transparent leader by making a few mistakes, by not being open and honest all the time, and it didn't go well. So I decided that I was going to be more transparent going forward. Who's going to ever remember that? But people remember in the war room, you were afraid of the message getting out. So you locked the doors and only a few people were let in. And somebody said it was like being a mushroom and kept in the dark and being fed poop. Those are all details and emotion invoking messages that help those stories stick. And the final aspect of storytelling is that it helps build resilience and adaptability. In the face of challenges, and there's so many out there now, a story can be a powerful motivator. When you have to change, you want to tell a story. And leaders who can use stories to frame setbacks as stepping stones, as a way to leapfrog forward, it encourages that mindset where people see every challenge as an opportunity to grow and to learn, where they don't have to be so afraid of the unknown because I'm not sure what's on the other side. If you tell a good story of how you as an organization faced something like that in the past and how it helped you become a better organization or how something like that affected you as a leader, it does build that resilience. It makes people say, okay, we can do this. It inspires that adaptability and that resilience that we are all looking for from our employees. Storytelling is so powerful. It's so important. It's not just about old-fashioned telltaling. It's a leadership superpower that is used in modern business landscape to inspire action, movement, change, connection, and it helps us inspire our employees and our customers. When you weave compelling narratives together, you can foster that more connected, motivated, resilient team. You can tell stories that make your customers want to do business with you. You can turn these visions that we have of being this great company, of being this great team into reality. And the best part is that everybody loves a good story. So why not make this part of your leadership strategy? Be a great storyteller. Invest in your storytelling skills. If you want to be a better storyteller, I highly recommend that you call Lakita and talk to her or go to Rock My Story or take another storytelling seminar, webinar, go to a storytelling event. There's all kinds of great books out there. Made to Stick is one. There's another great book, and I'll include these in the show notes. That's called Stories That Stick by Kendra Hall. That is a fantastic one specifically about storytelling in the business environment. You can get better at storytelling. It does take practice and it doesn't have to be perfect. Impact is what matters, not perfection. That's what Lakita always tells me about my speeches. So invest in your storytelling skills. Hire a speaking coach, read speaking books, storytelling books, go to a webinar, and it will really help you become a better leader that inspires action and change and makes you be worth following. All right. I hope that was inspiring for you. I will include all those in the show notes. And if you ever have any questions about how to be a better storyteller, please reach out to me. I'm happy to brainstorm with you. And check out my book, The Ownership Mindset. It is filled with stories about leadership and business and trials and tribulations and overcoming them. It's a great example of how you use storytelling to be able to move people, to inspire people to be better leaders. So you can find that on Amazon or my website at carriesiggins.com. All right, with that, I will leave you to your day. I hope you enjoy it. Please subscribe to this podcast if you like it, share it with a friend, tell others about it, write a review. It always helps with the algorithms, and I appreciate it so much. Take care. See you next week.